Words can create worlds. What makes for good writing? We'll find out today on Into the Words. Welcome to Into the Words. I'm your host, Mr. McGrath, and boy, do we have something different today. And now for something completely different. This story is a fictional narrative, and it's all about developing your voice as a writer. The worst thing you can do in a fictional narrative is be boring. Just kind of a and then you run out of and thens and there's no more thens then. And this is the exact opposite. In fact, this one pushes it just about as far as a young writer can push it in a school assignment. So we're going to read today work by James, a fictional narrative titled The Lucky Boy Who Never Knew He Was Lucky. Once there was a boy named Nate. He was a smart boy and he had a very good friend named Cameron. But his mother and father were terribly poor. His dad was a preacher and made very little money. His mother would do jack squat and only listen to K-pop all day. One day his father and mother came to him and said, "Son, we make very little money, as you may know, so me and your mother decided to give you to an orphanage." Nate said, "But father, and I mean all disrespect, why give me away to strangers when I could get a job and help out?" Nate tried to talk his father out of it, but it was no use. Later that day they arrived at the orphanage. His father said, "When we're able to take care of you, we will come and get you." At the orphanage, it was not fun. Years passed and the orphanage closed down, yet Nate knew no one would come for him, so he set off on his own. He had, after, been inspired by reading about Da Vinci and Picasso's greatness in the orphanage library. At times, he would doubt himself, but he always remembered that great truth of art. You need to make 100 drawings to get one right. He had made 100, and none of them were any good. But he developed the skill of making art for money and fun by ripping off Picasso, and when times were hard, he would think of his mom trying to put makeup on. His mother and father were so miserable that the only thing that would make them happy was the sight of their son, but they thought, while they were gambling, he would not want to see them. So they set off and came to a poor man who said, "Please spare some money." The father said, "You think you're the poor one? Just look at my wife." But she did not hear because she was listening to K-pop. When they arrived at the orphanage, they found a Little Caesars in its place. The mom ordered a large pepperoni pizza and a 3-liter ginger ale. The father was like, "Seriously?" Meanwhile, Nate was still living on the streets. One day he noticed someone, and guess what? It was Cameron, his long-lost friend from childhood. Cam said, "Dude, what up? Why you living in the ruins, dog?" Nate said, "Cam, I got no home, homie." Cam said, "You should live with me and my 17 roommates. We need another person." So Nate moved in, but he had a hard time finding a job. He finally got an interview and got a job at the place where people shoot golf balls off the rooftops of tall buildings. A year later, he got word that his mother and father had died. His father died from a breakdancing injury, and his mother died from a vanilla overdose. He was so sad that he never knew his parents, and his sorrow affected his work. He shot golf balls from the rooftops, but after a week, without smashing a single window or skull, the boss came to him. "Lucky boy," the boss said, and spat his chew on his own fake crocodile skin shoes. "We got to let you go." "Figures," said the lucky boy. A month later, he died when he was riding a horse backwards and rode off a cliff. Well, as promised, something completely different, and I don't even think I need to explain to you what James has done here, which is to go completely nonsensically absurd, pushing all limits with the humor and comedy. But I tell you, better you have a voice, even if might be a little controversial in the classroom, than you have dull writing that nobody wants to read. So well done, James. A+++ for you, and hopefully we can all develop a voice in our writing as powerful, and perhaps even as humorous as yours. Well, I hope you've gleaned something from this episode, and I will see you next time here on Into the Words. Would you like your writing to be featured on Into the Words, Young Writer? Send it to jamie.mcgrath@sccpss.com.